A while ago when I hit 50,000 subs, I did this massive 2.5 hour long video that covered 50 movies. It was like 20 plus franchises. And yeah, it's a lot to go through. So through the month of December, I figured I would periodically drop some of those timelines individually so you don't have to filter through all of that if you just want to watch one of them. So enjoy this special presentation of an individual timeline.
We're starting off with a horror timeline, and it's a mini one as we check out The Town That Dreaded Sundown. And this is one that wasn't an outtake. This is one that I did especially for this video. So let's see if this town has some continuity, or if it dreads it so much it doesn't know what time of day it is. The sun went down in 1976 with The Town That Dreaded Sundown, and we're told that we're 8 months after the war ended, World War II. So that would put us in the earlier part of 1946 then, and we're in Texarkana. And the narrator tells us that we're about to watch a true story. And that's kind of true. Like, there was a series of killings and attacks in 1946 committed by someone called the Phantom Killer that was never caught. And this is a loose adaptation of those events. We're shown one of his attacks, and oh, is that Jason? Well, this is a good 7 or 8 years before old Baghead Jason would appear, and it's largely thought that his sackhead look was inspired by this film. He attacks a young couple, but doesn't kill them, but shortly after ups the ante by murdering a couple in the woods. They call in help from one of the Wild Bunch, and the town is plunged into fear. And most of the film is actually based on the real-life events, to the point that the film is often referred to as a semi-documentary, and the attacks seem to happen every 21 days. And are these women supposed to be students or teachers? They also dance to Auld Lang Syne, which is just kind of weird to hear outside of a New Year's Eve context, and like clockwork, the killer strikes using this very unusual trombone murder technique. They catch a man who claims to be the killer, but they suspect that that's not the case, and it moves into May of 46, and Marianne is here, so at least she got off that island, only to be shot in her own house, but she manages to escape. They track the killer's car and have a showdown with him, but he escapes into the swamp and was never heard from again. Some say he died in the swamp, and others say he was arrested for another crime and was in jail, but others say he just went back to his normal life and is still out there. Okay, now here's where things get strange, because in 2014, almost 40 years later, The Town That Dreaded Sundown was released, which began as a remake but became something else entirely. It opens with a recap of the real events and talks about the original movie in 1976 and mentions that every year the film is still shown in Texarkana, and we're told that the events we're about to see happened last year. So then it's 2013 and people are watching the original film at a drive-in. A couple leaves to make out, and a man wearing the Phantom Killer outfit attacks them and kills Corey, but leaves Jamie alive. Bill Lumberger's here, and Jamie's grandma is Lambert, and he next gets Castor and the Conjuring Girl. And Blair Witch Josh is here too, while the head vampire is a preacher. Oh, also Ed Lauter and Anthony Anderson are here as cops, and weirdly, even though this is supposed to be 2013, this news clipping was published in November of 2014. And Jamie gets an email from the Phantom saying they didn't catch him 66 years ago, although 66 years ago was 1947, not 1946. And there was a guy who they thought may have been the killer back when, because he was arrested and went to jail for 30 years, and the killing stopped immediately after he went away. The masked man continues his spree, including a recreation of the old trombone attack, and they find out that the son of Charles Pierce, director of the original film, lives nearby, and he tells them about a guy named Hank McCready who was a victim of the original killer but wasn't identified, and he says that his family was upset that no one remembered him, and he has a grandson that's still alive and may be the new Phantom. Jamie and her grandma decide to leave town, but the Phantom attacks, sending Jamie on the run. It's revealed that there's actually 2 Bagheads, and Deputy Foster is one of them, but the other one is Corey from the beginning, who faked his death. It turns out that Foster is MacReady's grandson, and he just shoots Corey, but she manages to get his gun away from him and kills him. But they never find his body, so I guess he could still be alive. So there you have it, two movies with a pretty interesting take on continuity. Like, they're sort of connected, but then again, they're not. And I liked these. The first one is pretty great, and the second one is decent, if not a bit cliche. Like I hate the ending, but they're both worth checking out.